Okay, I think we're live right now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, good morning, thanks for joining today. Hello, hello. Well, it's Monday. Yes, sirree. Yes, it is. I think this is the third Monday of January. Yes, it is. It's a holiday here in America. We celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. And it's a holiday. But I'm here with you guys because I want to help you speak English better. That's exactly right. So, hey, thank you so much for joining me today for this live English lesson. Thanks for coming today. Much appreciated. Today is another action-packed lesson up. Oscar is here. We have all the usual suspects. That's correct. Today, Tefo, hi. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming today. Today, what I'm going to do, and what you're going to do is, Tammy, hi. We're going to practice, we're going to go, just a moment. Let me try that with a cup of coffee. Much better. So what we're going to do today is, I realized 2 weeks ago we talked about in and at. And I realized last night that there was one part of that lesson that we didn't do. And so I want to finish that up today. And then we're also going to talk about on, because that's another preposition of location that can be tricky for a lot of people. And I know, let me fix the lights. Sorry, something's wrong with my eye this morning. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So, I don't know, there's something wrong with this eye. I'm not sad, I'm not crying, but that eye is. I know that prepositions are a huge, huge, huge pain in the neck for a lot of people. And it doesn't have to be that way, but it is. And so I'm going to do my best right now, and in this next hour or so, to help you at least sort out in, at, and on. I know that in some languages you don't necessarily have prepositions, and I also know that it's hard to translate them. And so do your best not to translate during this class, because I don't think translation is going to help at all. So, all right. Where are you is my question. Oscar says, I'm at my desk right now. Where is your desk? In the office? At the office? Where? Is the desk in your kitchen? In your house? Where? Where are you? That's my question. Type in the comments. Where are you? Glacio is in Brazil. David rocks. In the evening of March 12th or on the evening? In the evening. Nope, it's in the evening. In the morning? In the afternoon? In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night. That's how that goes. In the dining room. Glacio, in the dining room is better. In my room. And so that's a pretty easy concept, right? And we mentioned last time that we use in. Well, you tell me, when do we use in? What's the situation that we use in? The basic idea. What's the basic situation we use in? In Toronto. in my bedroom, in my room, in my house. When do we use in? What's the rule for in? Saikat, hello, welcome. Normal student. You're a normal student and I am a normal teacher, maybe. In my bedroom. I'm cleaning up the kitchen. Inside of the place. Inside, right. In is what? If there's a border, that's right. Oscar was taking notes last time. Thank you. That's right. In means inside. There's a border or there's a wall. And that's the basic idea of in. And in everyday conversation, I could say things like, oh, I'm in Starbucks, I'm at Starbucks. I'm in Starbucks, I'm at Starbucks. Or if you look at my example, we don't have any examples. If you look at my examples here, Jack is at his office. Jack is in his office. At his office, in his office, at his office, in his office. I feel that in everyday conversation, we use both, and we don't care. And I know that that's a tough thing to understand, but it's true. We don't care. You can say where is Jack? Oh, he's at his office. Oh, he's in his office. It just tells us about Jack's location. We're not picky. We're not particular about that. So you can use either one. Let's meet at Starbucks. Let's meet in Starbucks. Let's meet at the library. Let's meet in the library. You're going to find your friend if you say that. It doesn't matter, okay? Because we use both. And I believe that native English speakers use both like this without thinking. Because we don't care. He's in the office, he's at the office. He's in the office, he's at the office. We generally don't care. But there are some times that we do care. And that's what I want to show you next. JTS, hello from South Korea. Hello, hello. Can we say, I am in your heart? Yes, you can say that, but you're gonna make me sweat if you say that. Oof. I was in my mother's house last night. All right. Okay, so first, this is confusing, Michael. First, Michael said, we don't care. And now Michael says we do care. Well, there are situations where we tend, keyword tend, sometimes we tend to use at, and sometimes we tend to use in. Both are fine. Jack is at his office. Jack is in his office. Both are fine, but there are some times that we tend to use at, and sometimes we tend to use in. Now, I know that I've talked about this point in other lessons, perhaps Clubhouse, but we're going to talk about it again today because it bears repeating. By the way, if you would like to get a copy of this document that I'm showing you right here, this document, this document, go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube, just like that. It's a free download. All you got to do is you put in your name and your email address, and you can download this document for free. You can also, while you're there, you can download the document that's a study guide for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid class, which I hold on Clubhouse every Tuesday at this time. So go get those documents. All right, so this is the situation where we hear. Glaucio, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Okay. We tend to use at. We tend. Not every time. There's no rule, no strong rule, but we tend to use at when the verb is not the be verb. Let me give you some examples so you know what I'm talking about. I bought this shirt on sale at the department store. I bought this shirt at the department store. Actually, I bought this shirt at Amazon.com. This shirt. Jack had a coffee at a nice cafe on Madison Avenue. Hey, let's study at the library. Let's study at the library. He had coffee at the cafe. I bought the shirt at the department store. You'll notice that in each of these cases, the verb is an action verb. It's not the be verb. And so we tend to use at when the verb is not the be verb. I'll say that again, just to be sure. We tend to use at when the verb is not the be verb. We tend to do that. It's not the rule. It is not the law. It's what we tend to do. We usually do that. We normally do that. Okay? Again, it's not the rule. It's not the law. I bought this shirt at the department store. I had coffee at a cafe. Let's study at the library. All right? So that's the point here. That's the point. On the other hand, we tend to use in with the be verb. With the be verb. All right, let's do this before we get to that point. Oscar has an example. I bought some bread at the bakery. Somebody give me an example. Write your example in the comments or in the comments. I don't know where the comments are. There's comments somewhere. What did you do at a place? Did you buy something at the grocery store this weekend? Did you see a concert at the stadium? Or did you see a game at the stadium? Did you buy something at the department store? What's your example? Did you study at the library? Leave your example in the comments. Let's get some examples going because you guys need to practice this. Remember, and I say this almost every lesson, if you want to remember this vocabulary, you take the vocabulary, you write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then you memorize your sentences. I bought some bread at the bakery. I played tennis at the gym. I got some coffee at the cafe. I met my friends at the cafe. Right. That's how you remember what to do. It's your example, and you can remember it that way. Yesterday I bought my shirt at the supermarket. I think we did a lot today. Let's call it day and go for a drink. At an Irish bar. That sounds good for me. I had a good time with my coworkers at a cafe. I went at a grocery store. I went to a grocery store. You always go to a place. You go to a place and you do something at a place. That's an important point. I put my bag at that room. Okay, here too, what did we say about I put that bag at that room? I think I put that bag in that room is better. We usually say in a room or in this room or at this room. I know there's situations. What's the difference? At a room. I study at a room. I put my bag at that room. I put my bag in that room. I think we just use the phrase in that room. I think that's just a phrase you have to remember. Sorry. In that room. I bought a lot of food and 2 indoor plants at the grocery store, right? At the grocery store. So that's the general idea. And again, this is what we tend to do. Somebody had a question. I borrowed some money at a bank. I didn't pay it back. Uh-oh. And you work there. Okay, somebody whose name I can't read because it's in Hungary says at a cafe, at the cafe. A cafe, the cafe. Oh my God. Or the. Well, I'll tell you this, because the difference between using and the, that's another long conversation, which we can have that conversation if you like. If you want to study, if you want to talk about and the in one of these live lessons, let me know. We can do that. But basically, I met my friends at the cafe. At the cafe is a particular specific cafe I'm thinking of. Let's go to a cafe, or we met at a cafe. It doesn't matter which cafe it is. A means one of many. So a means one of many, and the is a specific thing. That's the basic idea, but my goodness, there are many, many rules about and the, which I don't want to get into these days. Oh, okay, good. Sometimes, okay, that's good. That's good. You mean that's a good idea. It always depends on the verb. Borrow from, right? Usually you borrow money from the bank, but you can say I borrowed money at the bank. But usually it's from, I think. It always depends on the verb. I had my nails done at a beauty salon. Yes, me too. When I had my hair done. Okay. So that's at. I put that at the room. I put my bag at the room. Yeah, I think we have to think about also, and I know that this makes it confusing. We usually say in a room, in this room, in that room. I put my bag in that room. And I know that at the cafe has walls and a room has walls, but we usually just say in a room or in that room or in this room or in that room. I think that's the difference there. I renewed my driver's license at the traffic department. Right. Jose, thank you. All right. So when there's an action verb, we tend to use at. When there's just the be verb and you're just thinking about or talking about the location and we don't care about the action, we tend to use in. And that's the basic difference. Here are some examples. I was in the department store yesterday. Jack is in a cafe on Madison Avenue. We have been in the library, have been, even though it's that grammar, it's still the be verb. We have been in the library for 3 hours. Let's go home. Okay, so I was in the department store. I bought this shirt at the department store. I was in the department store yesterday. I bought this shirt at the department store. Jack had coffee at the cafe. Jack was in the cafe. Notice the difference there with the be verb. We have been in the library for 3 hours. Tomorrow, let's study at the library. So when we use the be verb, we tend to use in. When we use an action verb, we tend to use at. Not every time, not all the time. It's what we tend to do. And you can use Google to help you study this point. For example, go to Google, not now, but later, and type in, I was in the department store yesterday, and see how many results you get. And then type in, I was at the department store yesterday. And you'll see there are more results with in and the be verb than another one. I was in a hair salon to get my hair cut and my hair dyed yesterday. I was in a cafe chatting with my coworkers. She has been studying at her friend's house for a couple of hours. Studying at her friend's house. I was in a cafe. I was in a hair salon, right? This morning we have been in the park walking with friends for 3 hours, right? And again, we have been in the park for 3 hours. Sorry. We have been in the park. That's the be verb. We tend to use in with the be verb. And did I mention that before? I'm going to say that again in case I forgot to say that. This is what we tend to do. It is not the rule. It's what we tend to do. Okay? That's what we tend to do. We usually do this. It is not the rule. So don't tell your friends, oh, Michael told us that that's the rule. Because it's not the rule. This is what we tend to do. This is what we usually do. This is what we usually do. Okay? Make sense? And again, if you've just joined us and you want to study this more, then go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube, and then you can download this document right here. Oh, I changed that. You can download this document right here if you go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube. It's free. Yeah, that's that. All right. It's 9:53 here in Seoul, Korea. Yep, you're 14 hours ahead of me. I'm glad to hear that. I was in the pub yesterday hanging out with some dudes. Dudes. Hey, dudes in the pub. All right, good. That's good. All right. And I know that that's a lot of English to think about at one time. And I know that it's not easy to remember that. But again, you've got to get this document, download this document, or do a screenshot of this. And then you have to write your own sentences. Think about where you were. Where were you in the past week? I was in my office Monday to Friday. I was in the hair salon. I was in a cafe with my coworkers. I was at a pub with some dudes. All the young dudes. Okay? I was in the cinema yesterday. Aram, thank you. Right. So you write those sentences. And then think about some actions, right? I watched a movie at the cinema. I drank coffee. I talked to my friends at the cafe. I bought a shirt at the department store. I had my hair cut at the salon, right? Whatever it is, whatever your sentence is, that's what you have to do to memorize this rule or this idea. I don't even want to call it a rule, because rules don't have exceptions. These are ideas, okay? And if you think about language like that, because you often hear, these are the grammar rules. Oh, today, class, we're going to study the grammar rules. I don't think they're rules. I think they're ideas. Okay, they're grammar ideas. Because there's a rule that says when you drive your car, you have to stop at a red light. That's a rule, and in fact, the government made the rule, and that's called a law. But with grammar, especially English grammar, I don't know about your language, but especially with English grammar, every rule seems to have an exception. And if you have an exception with a rule, then it's not a rule, it's an idea. Okay, so this is the idea. The idea is we use at when it's not the be verb, and we use in when it is the be verb. That's the idea. That's the idea. And if you think of it that way, and you give your mind a little flexibility, you're going to be having an easier time to learn English grammar than if you have to have the rule exactly. And plus, I think that if you're watching this video, you're probably not a beginner, because I think my style of speaking might not be suitable for a complete beginner of English. And as a beginner, you do need some rules, okay? And that's fine. But I'm talking to you. You have probably figured it out. You have figured it out. You have understood by now that a lot of these rules that English teachers tell you about are just ideas. Okay, that usually happens. It usually happens this way. Oh, yeah, but not in that situation. Or, oh, not in that context. How many times have we had a lesson together and we've heard, who's the king? Go ahead, write it in the comments. Let me see if you guys pay attention to me. Who is the king? Who's the king? Tell us the king's name. Who is the king? Right. Who's the king? Let me see the chat room. Let me see the chat light up. I always tell you this. Is king. Who's the king? Nobody? Oh my God, you're all sleeping? No, come on, wake up, get there. Oh, there's a delay. That's the problem. There's always a delay. There's a delay. Is that working? Oh, that's working. Somebody is the king in language. Who's the king? Da, 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 da. Not Michael. I am not the king. I am just your servant. I am not a king. I am not the shogun. I am just a lowly servant. No, I am not the servant. Elvis is not the king. Oh my God. I always tell you this. Blah, blah, blah is king. Who's king? What's king? Now, context. Thank you. Context is king. Context is king. Context is king. Context. It all depends on the context. Context is the king. Okay? And so, hello, Sky. Welcome, first timer. Thanks for coming by. Context is king. Okay? Context decides everything. So, it all depends on the context, and that's how you know what to use in what situation. Context is king. Because a lot of things that we say in English, we use it in this situation, but we don't use it in that situation. Context is king. Elvis is king. Freddie Mercury. Yeah, that's true. All right. I know it's a tricky question. It's a tricky question because I'm a tricky teacher. That's right. Context is king. What does that mean, Elena asks? It means that what language you use depends on the context. It all depends on the situation. Okay, and we've seen that hundreds of times before. In this context, we say this. In this context, we say that. Naoko loves context. Yes, she does, because she understands who the king is, and she respects the king. Context is king. All right, let's learn more stuff, and then you guys can review this, this lesson. All right. Again, we're finishing up with prepositions of place. We're talking about on, okay? We use on when we talk about a street. Not the address, just the street name. So here's some examples. The name of the street. And I know that in some places, like I used to live in Japan, and most streets in Japan don't have a name, or at least when I lived there. So, but if you live in a place where the streets have a name, then you would say this. His office is on Madison Avenue. There are a lot of interesting places on Broadway. There used to be many discount shops on Canal Street. So we use on when we say the name of the street. And the next point, and this could be a little tricky too, and I know that a lot of things about prepositions are tricky. So when we talk about directions, right? North, east, southwest. North, east, southwest. When we talk about those directions, and those directions are used as nouns, we use in. When north, east, south, and west are used as nouns, we use in. For example, New York is in the east. California is in the west. In the east, in the west. It's cold in the north, especially in the winter. In the north. People in the south like to eat spicy foods. How about you? Think about your country. Do you live in the north? In the east, in the south, in the west? Istanbul is in the northwest of Turkey. That's right. Half in Europe, half in Asia. So how about you? Do you live in the north? Do you live in the south? Do you live in the west? Do you live in the east? Leave your example there in the comments. Let me know. Where do you live? Maybe you live in the middle, but in the middle is not north, east, south, and west. So where do you live? In the north, in the east, in the south? I live in the north of Italy. In the north of Italy. I used to live in the north. Right. That's how we use that. Because the north, right? I live in the west of Tokyo. So I live in the west of the Netherlands. So north, east, south, and west are nouns. They're used as nouns, according to this little document here. Then we use in. Seoul is in the south of Korea. I live in the suburb of Toronto. I live in the center of the country. Right. So in the west, but not exactly. Okay. Close enough. So, and you'll know that north, east, south, and west are nouns because before them is the. In the West. In the cup. I lived in the Middle West, right? Okay? So that's the story. When north, east, south, and west are used as nouns, we use in. That's what it says there. By the way, if you're just joining us and you would like to get a copy of this document, go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube and you can download that for free. All you do is put your name and email address. Don't worry, I'm not going to send you spam. I don't like spam either. All right, so that's what I just said. When north, east, south, and west are used as nouns, we use in. However, when north, east, south, and west are used as adjectives, we use on. And that's usually the case of the side. The side. Jeff lives on the west side of town. On the west side. There are many flags on the south side of the building. On the south side. On the upper side. James' office is on the upper west side. I'm just going to change that. I don't like the way that sounds. Her office is on the upper west side. So, on the side. And you probably know that phrase when you go to order food in the restaurant. You say to the waiter or the server, you say, yes, let me have a burger with fries on the side. On the side. Not in the side, on the side. And so, on the west side, on the east side, that's how we use these north, east, south, and west. So if you're thinking about like a giant building, right? Like, oh, I don't know, a concert hall or a shopping mall, right? So when you think about buildings like that, you go, oh, okay, so Macy's, that's a department store name, Macy's is on the west side, and Nordstrom is on the east side. Okay, so on the west side, on the east side, or in the west. That's how that works. That's how that works. How are we doing on time? We're doing good on time. Okay, so that's how. And again, I know that this is a lot of English to remember, and you've got to take your sentences like what you wrote in the chat and you write them in your notebook. My goodness, I hope you're coming to this class with a notebook to take notes, right? So you can remember this. Do you sit on the couch at the corner of the living room? I love all those prepositions together. All right, a couple of other things. Now, I said before that that there are certain phrases that we use in a room. Okay, and so we talked 2 weeks ago about in the hospital and at the hospital, right? Remember that? On the bed and in bed. And so we have some set phrases like that. Oh, that's a good question. Yumino asked, do we have to write the capital? No, it's not necessary, but actually my typing stinks. So what I should do is I should go like this. In New York City, we have some neighborhoods that use these words. So the Upper West Side, the Upper East Side, and the Lower East Side. Those are the names of the neighborhoods. And so, yeah. And so that's when it's capital. But in general, we don't. Jeff lives on the west side of the town. We don't need a capital letter. But thanks for asking. It's a good question. Mahadev, hello. Oh, you took your message away. Okay. All right, so these are other phrases that we use with on. Okay, you have to remember this. On vacation, on business, on a trip, on a business trip, on a tour, on a cruise. Okay? Let's look at this first one. I went to Hawaii on vacation. I traveled on vacation. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, "Oh, I'm so excited. Next month I am going to vacation." No. No. Don't go to vacation. Go on vacation. Okay? You go on a vacation. Go on vacation. We say that. I went to London on business. I travel on business. Where's your husband? Oh, he's traveling on business. He's on business. You can also go on a trip, on a tour, on a cruise, on a picnic. Let's go to a picnic. Let's go on a picnic. Okay? If you take a ship, but please don't because it's Corona time, you go on a cruise, not to a cruise. Okay? These are set phrases. Let's go on a picnic. Let's go on a tour. On a tour. Let's go on a tour. Not let's go to a tour. Now I said half hour ago, you go to a place, right? You go to a place. A tour is not a place. A cruise is not a place. It's an event. A picnic is an event, okay? So you go on these things. Let's go on a trip. How about you? When was the last time you went on a trip? That's a good question to practice in your notebook. Go on a trip. How about you? Where did you go? When was the last time you went on vacation or you went somewhere on business? Tammy says on the house. This coffee is on the house, which means it's free. So how about you? How about you? What's your example? Do you travel on business? Do you sometimes travel on business? Do you like to go on a tour? Have you been on a picnic recently? Leave your comment in the comments. Leave your comment in the comments. That's a good place to put your comments. Can we say in the internet? It's always on the internet. On the internet. And that's coming up next. That's the next one. Don't get too ahead of me. How about you? On business? You travel on business? You go on vacation? Go on a trip? I went on a trip to Okinawa. We went on a trip to Japan. Right. On a trip. On a trip. Go on a trip. Go on a trip. Go on a trip. Just say that 100 times. The last time I went on a trip was 4 years ago. Yes. I went to Germany on vacation. Right. Good, 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 good. All good. Excellent. All right. The next one. On television, on the radio, on the phone, on the internet, online. Online. Let's talk about that. I saw the game on TV. Mark is on the phone at the moment. I got this bag online. Online. So, about the internet, right? And the phrase the internet. So, language is always changing. And so we used to say, I go shopping on the internet, or I read that on the internet. I blah, blah, blah on the internet. So we used to have that set phrase on the internet. But recently, it's more common just to say online. I watched Michael's lesson online. I downloaded this document online. Online. Go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube. Online. I study English online. I go shopping online. I got books online. Okay? So you can say, oh, I blah, blah, blah on the internet. But if you want to sound like a 21st century English speaker, then just say online. Okay? That's better. And, you know, on the phone, on the radio, on television. Now, I don't know why, but we say on the radio, on the internet, on the phone, but on TV, no the. I know. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Michael, that doesn't make sense. You're right. It doesn't make sense. But that's what it is. So you just got to remember it. Okay? And don't worry about why. It doesn't matter why. It just is. Okay. You can learn English in books and online. My story was My story was on the local newspaper. Works better. Preposition goes first. Jessica, hi. All right. That's on. How much time do you spend online? I was online today. And a long time ago, and I mean about 20 years ago, online, this here, that was 2 words. In the beginning of the internet becoming popular with everyday people, online was 2 words, and now it's 1 word. Okay? So keep that in mind too. Online. All right. A couple more. We use on when we talk about our habit or situation with food, drinks, and medicine. Okay? Here's some examples. Because you always, I'm sure you've heard that phrase, right? He's on a diet. I'm going to go on a diet, right? First week of January, everyone says, oh, I'm going to go on a diet this year, on a diet. Third week of January, hey, pass the potato chips. He's on the banana diet. Or she's on a vegan diet. She's on a vegetarian diet. He's on a seafood diet. I am on a seafood diet. Yep, let me tell you about my seafood diet. I'm on the seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. Okay. Like it's on the 17th. It means this month. That's right. That's right. On the 17th. Kim's baby is on solid food. Right? After hurting his back in the car accident, Danny was on painkillers for a few weeks. Okay, so we use on in that way. You talk about drugs, right? You always hear people say, oh, he's on drugs, or he's on marijuana, or that guy's on cocaine. I don't know. So we use on in those situations. And I'm not a health expert, but I'll tell you, don't go on a diet. Just eat what you like to eat. Eat good food and try to move around a little bit. Exercise. That's the best thing for your health. Because this is what happens. You go on a diet and you say, I'm only going to eat tofu and salad every day for 2 weeks. And then after that, you go to Shake Shack and you get 10 burgers. So diets never work. If you've ever been on a diet and you've successfully lost weight and you've never gained that weight again, let me know. I'd like to know. Kim's baby is finally on solid food. What does that mean? So infants, little tiny babies, they drink mother's milk. That's their first food, is mommy's milk. And then they eat soft food, right? After, I don't know, I don't have kids, but I guess You have a baby, first couple of months they drink mommy's milk only. And then you give them simple soft food like mushy rice or applesauce, right? And soft bread with milk. I don't know what you give babies. And then solid food means something the baby can chew. Maybe you'll give them, I don't know, scrambled eggs. So that's what that is. Yeah, Shake Shack. Ooh, I haven't been to Shake Shack in over 2 years. Yeah. It's been, what is this? This is January. It's almost 2 years. March 2020. That was the last time I've been to a restaurant. Thank you, COVID. Okay, couple more. Me too, I want a miraculous diet. You don't need a miraculous diet. All you need to do is you eat healthy food and you exercise. That's all. You walk. I try to walk. That's what I try to do. For real, yes. For real. I have not been inside a restaurant or a bar. And going to restaurants used to be my favorite thing to do. And I don't do that. I have not done that. I'll tell you when it was. It was the 13th of March 2020. It was a Friday night. And I was coming home from work. And 2 blocks from Penn Station in New York City is Hanbat. Hanbat! Hanbat is it's a Korean restaurant, and they specialize in the cuisine of the south part of South Korea. And so, because I heard I heard the chef is from somewhere in the south part of South Korea, Busan, I'm not sure. And maybe that. And I went there, and that restaurant has about 60 tables. It's a pretty big restaurant. And on a Friday night at 8 o'clock at night, it's usually packed. Packed. And that night, March 13th, there were 3 other tables with customers except for mine. Okay? And that was that. And then the next day, one of my students who would come to my office, we would have lessons in my office. He called me. He sent me a text message on Saturday morning, and he said, "Listen, somebody in my company tested positive for COVID, so I have to stay home and quarantine for 14 days. Can we have a lesson online?" And at that moment, I decided, okay, only going to be studying English online. And so I closed my office, and that was the last time I went to a restaurant, and that was the last time I had a lesson. That day was the last time I had lessons in my office, March 13th, 2020. Ay. Okay, so now you know the whole story there. All right, 2 more. 2 more, and then we're done. We use on when we talk about using machines or equipment. Okay, machines or equipment. I was on my laptop last night, all night. I was on my laptop all night last night. I was on my laptop. Jim was on the phone with his boss for an hour. On the phone. I usually read books on my Kindle. On a Kindle. So when you're talking about machines or equipment, we usually use on the phone, on the computer, on my tablet, something like that, on my Kindle. How about you guys? Do you like to read a book on a Kindle, on an iPad, or do you like to read books in a book, like a paper book? It's my favorite book these days. How about you? Do you like to read books on a Kindle? You read books on your phone? Yes. Last year, COVID was crazy in LA. Yep. That book is on the TV we just bought. That book is on the TV. Do we use the on the TV? Yes. On the TV. Because you're talking about a specific particular machine. So that in that case, right? There's a statue on the TV. These days, TVs are only this thick, so you can't put anything on the TV. You can't put a book on the TV. But the old style TV you could, yeah. Japanese, yes. iPad and book. I read an article on a newspaper. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it's electronic media, we use on TV, on the radio, on the phone, on the internet, online. But if it's paper, we say it's in the book, in a book, in a newspaper, in a magazine. In a newspaper, in a book, in a magazine. That's how that works, Yumina. I don't like to read books on Kindle, in paper books. No, I prefer a physical book. I don't like to read books on everywhere. Everywhere doesn't need a preposition. I don't like to read books anywhere because it's negative. I don't like to read books anywhere. On the phone means talking to someone. That's correct. But, like, oh, hold on a second. Oh, just a second. Hello? No. I can't talk now. I'm just give me a second. I'm on the phone. No, I can't talk now. I'm in a class. No. I know. I miss you too. I know. All right. So that's on the phone. I'm on the phone. But 30 years ago, on the phone meant talking to someone. But now, on the phone means, oh, I'm going to check my Instagram. Oh, Instagram, or whatever. So, TikTok, on the phone. So you can do many things on the phone, right? You can read the news on the phone. You can take this lesson on the phone if you want, right? So the phrase on the phone, if you say someone is on the phone, that means they're having a conversation, talking to somebody. But on the phone doesn't always mean that. It depends on the king. Context is king. There's an example of context. Context is king. Okay. On page number 3, that's right. We built this on rock and roll. Why is it on? Tsudu-chan. We built this city on rock and roll. That's an old song. How do you know that song? We built this house on cement. Okay? Because you build something on something, right? They built their summer house on the beach, on the sand. So physically on that thing. And so we built this on rock and roll is a metaphor. It's poetry. And song lyrics are poetry. It's hard to it's hard to analyze exactly that, but it's a metaphor. That's my Tsuru-chan. That's my best answer for that. All right, and the last one. I'll move this down. We use on when we talk about what part of your body you use for something. So we have phrases like this. She's a ballet dancer, so she can stand on her toes. I usually sleep on my side or on my stomach. We were all on our feet when the CEO walked into the meeting room. Okay, we're on our feet. I sleep on my stomach. She stands on her toes. Hey, are you standing on your head? That's what clowns do in the circus. All right, so that's in, at, and on. And I hope that was very helpful for you. Again, if you want to get a copy, if you've just joined us and you want to get a copy of this document, this study guide right here, this thing, you go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube. It's a free download. Look, I can like special effects. And you can get that for free. For free. That's right. And you can download that for free. In fact, all of the PDF documents for every live lesson that I've done here on YouTube since December, you can download that document for free. Also, tomorrow at this time on Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app, we're going to be studying The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Great book to learn English. Please join us for that. What's the difference between in the beach, on the beach, at the beach? So we talked about I'm on the beach, I'm at the beach, I'm on the beach, I'm at the beach. On the beach is physically on the sand. At the beach is just the place. That's a tough one. In the beach, we don't say. We don't say in the beach. You can either be on the beach or at the beach. And there you go. Because there's an exception to every rule. I said it's not a rule. It's what we tend to do. Right? And there are a lot of contexts where the rule is broken or we don't do that. And I know that that's what makes English hard. This is not easy. Prepositions are not easy. This language is not easy. I know that. You know that. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. This is not effortless. Some people say that. And I'm sorry, if you've come here for 25 secrets to learning English, there's no secret. The secret is you work hard, you study hard, you take notes, and you practice. That's the secret. You try to listen to English a little bit every day. I said this the first live class in December. You listen a little bit every day, you write a little bit every day, you read something every day, and you speak every day. That's the secret. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this live lesson. Again, if you want to download the PDF right here, you go to myhappyenglish.com/YouTube and you get that. And then I will be back here next week, same time, same channel. I do have more YouTube lessons, not live, coming out this week. Please check those out. Hey, if you like this lesson, if you like my lessons, tell your friends. Share this on social media. I would really appreciate that. You hit the share button, hit the like button. That would be awesome. All right, tomorrow it's going to be live on Clubhouse for The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, your chance to speak English with me together. All right, let's try that. Thank you again for watching today. I'm going to have to hit the off button now. Let's see, like that. Thank you for watching. Thanks for studying. And hey, catch you later. Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.